Welcome to the Den, the Dark Entertainment Network. I'm the Gothic Rose, and this is the dark tale of the day. Let me take this moment to reintroduce myself. I am the Gothic Rose, hostess of the Dark Entertainment Network. This is a channel where the news meets conspiracy theories and makes babies in my brain, and it comes out my mouth. I do this because I enjoy it. If you like this type of content, please follow along, because I'm not going to stop. Welcome back, dear fiends of the Den. I am still in the middle of my contest to pick my new logo for the Dark Entertainment Network, and any input you can give me will be appreciated. And I just want to give a really sincere thank you guys so much for subscribing and liking and viewing and all your comments. I really appreciate them. They really just give me more inspiration to keep going and keep bringing you guys some great stories. We talked about the king of Hollywood, Douglas Fairbanks. So he was born May 23rd, 1833. He was from Denver, Colorado, and he passed away December 12th, 1939 in Santa Monica, California. And he was known for his athleticism. He was known for his stunts on screen during the silent film age that really drew audiences into his whole dynamic of films. But one of the things that I guess was his little scandal was his relationship with Mary Pickford. So Douglas Fairbanks and Mary Pickford were married in 1920. Now, this entire relationship was surrounded by scandal because when they were getting together, they were having an affair. They were both married to other people. So the couple met in 1915 and began a secret romance and disguised themselves during these clandestine meetings. So two actors would put on costumes, and the only way you could communicate with people back then was one home telephone if you had it, or by letter. So I wonder how any of this little affair actually happened. Douglas Fairbanks was known to have said of Mary Pickford, "I am simply wild about you." So they had an undeniable connection. And according to the vintagenews.com, they say it didn't take long for their love affair to blossom into a fully formed romantic partnership that yielded even greater rewards than they had received independently. It is as if Mary Pickford and Douglas Fairbanks, the first power couple of the golden age of cinema, wrote the script that so many Hollywood couples follow to this day. And we do know all about those power couples. Now, I have a week's worth of podcasts all about Mary Pickford and how she just had all of this business acumen and vision and became more than a silent film actress, won an Oscar for one of the first talkies. She actually won the second Oscar ever for Best Actress, and she was known as America's sweetheart. She, of course, starred in silent films, and prior to silent films, in vaudeville. And she was a very versatile actress and also just a shrewd businesswoman. She, along with Douglas Fairbanks, known as the King of Hollywood, co-founded United Artists in 1919. Now, their whole tale of getting together, this 5-year affair from 1915 until they married in 1920, this marriage in Hollywood, even though it was scandalous, became a symbol of glamour and romance. So these affairs were forgiven by the fans because together, they were so glamorous, they were so influential, they were so, just everything that everyone aspired to be in the golden age of Hollywood. They were very, very beloved by their fans. And their joint ventures together solidified their legacy as trailblazers in the industry, also while being a married couple. So I found a very sweet story about Mary Pickford and Douglas Fairbanks. So when Douglas Fairbanks' son from his first marriage first met Mary Pickford, he was just a young child. And Mary, despite her fame, knelt down on the ground to play with his toy trains, instantly winning his affection. And this very small but heartfelt gesture showed her ability to connect with people on a personal level, even as one of the most famous women in the world. And then, of course, we know that Mary Pickford and Douglas Fairbanks created their home called Pickfair. And this wasn't just a glamorous mansion, it was the hub of celebrity creativity and camaraderie. So they hosted legendary gatherings where guests like Charlie Chaplin, Albert Einstein, and Amelia Earhart all mingled. So this was like truly great Gatsby stuff. And these parties included private film screenings, and it made the Pickfair Mansion the cultural epicenter of its time. So they really just anything to do with promoting the arts. Mary Pickford and Douglas Fairbanks set the standard in Hollywood from 1920. Well, really 1915 if you think about the 5-year affair. So when they were in the middle of creating these parties at Pickfair, they were riding up the ladder, and they reached the pinnacle. They reached the height of their careers, and it was just marked by this immense influence on Hollywood and all of their groundbreaking achievements, including co-founding United Artists and the Academy for the Oscars. They literally revolutionized the film industry by giving filmmakers creative control and independence over their own work. And of course, now their marriage in 1920 solidified their status as Hollywood royalty. This was it. They were the first it couple, power couple. Now, other people that attended some of these parties were F. Scott Fitzgerald and so many other writers who were involved in their movies, the Mark of Zorro, Robin Hood, and, just basically they had their in crowd. But then, of course, everything started to fall apart because later on in the marriage, in the 1930s, there were whispers of infidelity and growing distrust. And this caused a lot of cracks in their relationships. And Douglas Fairbanks was reportedly very jealous, and he didn't like Mary Pickford working around other men. And then Mary Pickford's mother died, and her grief in dealing with this added to struggles with alcohol, and this added to a lot of strain in the marriage. And then after 16 years, they ended their marriage in 1936. So it was really the end of an era in the golden age of Hollywood. And just 3 years prior, the Screen Actors Guild made its appearance to, be the union and the voice and the protectors for actors. So these two worked in between having no representation, having to take complete control and break away from Thomas Edison and the MCCP and create United Artists and give the work back to the artists. Douglas Fairbanks and Mary Pickford are this gold standard for what a Hollywood power couple was. But like everything, when You reach the top, the only place to go from there is down, and nothing and no one lasts forever, but they did leave a very lasting mark. Ironically, I say that with their beautiful pieces of art. I mean, how many remakes of the Three Musketeers or of Zorro or of Robin Hood do we have? This is all based on Douglas Fairbanks' silent films and Mary Pickford setting the standard for being a very powerful woman in Hollywood. It's an incredible story of Hollywood's first power couple, and we're going to talk about more of those as we go on through the Haunted Hollywood history. Thank you for joining me in the den. If you do enjoy this content, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and hit that bell.